Hello and welcome back everyone. Today we are going to have another Heart of the Swarm replay. This is from our Cast It. If you are not familiar, that is basically a subreddit on the website reddit.com, and it's a place that you can go upload your replays, whether it was a good game, bad game, maybe you faced someone that you weren't expecting. We've seen a couple replays where someone happened to run into the former MTW Damagos as well as White Raw. So it's just kind of a place you can share your epic, cool games. Seen a ton of games with like nukes, all sorts of stuff. So they usually turn out to be pretty interesting, and hopefully this one will as well. But without further ado, we're gonna head into the game and introduce our players. In the bottom left, we do have Keksx, our pink Zerg player. And this guy, I did a little bit of research. He is a very good player. He's been in Zotac Cups. He's been in some ESL Cups as well. And it does look like he has performed fairly good, played some pretty good players. As you can see, these guys do kind of seem to know each other. He is Grandmaster currently in the Heart of the Swarm. But in the top right, we do have Pineapple, our purple Zerg. So we are going to have a ZVZ. And what are we going to see is the question. More than likely we're going to see a 14 pool. That's the safe play. Now, if these guys are going to get greedy and they are a little bit higher skill level than your average player, they might try and get risky and go for a hatchery first. But what I'm really interested to look at is what is going to happen around layer tech. Are they going to utilize those speed hydras? Are they going to utilize the new Mutalisk? If you do not know the Mutalisk now, it does in fact have a out of combat health regeneration. That is, it's kind of quick. It's not crazy fast to where like it would be imbalanced, but it is nice. You can kind of bounce in and out. Say like a mineral line, have your pack of mutas, bounce in, take a couple shots from maybe a turret or a cannon, some marines, whatever it may be, and then just bounce out before you lose them. And that way, your damaged ones kind of typically cycle towards the back, and they start regenning health. But we do see both players going for hatch first, then pools. So we are going to see a fairly macro-oriented game. Gas coming down from Keksx. Or are we going to see at the lair possibly Swarm Host utilized? I am not terribly fond of them in ZVC. The reason being is if you have an Overseer, well, you have mutas, the Swarm Hosts are now completely void of doing any damage, unless you get Aspire yourself and get Corruptors. But at that point, I feel like it would be more cost efficient to just get a larger pack of mutas, get your Carapace upgrade, as it does scale better in muta versus muta due to the Glaive Worm action that they present. Queen's on the way. We do see a slight variation for the first time. Pineapple going for these two Zerglings, and it does look like Keksx is going to opt to more than likely just try and squeeze out another drone. I do like this play. For the most part, you really don't need those two Zerglings. I would recommend getting two Zerglings against Terran, simply because that way you can kind of plant one here, maybe even capture a tower, and that way you can tell just in case they happen to be trying to move out. But against Zerg, well, it's a stylistic choice. Speed boost on the way. And these are going to be pretty much exactly at the same time, so there is not going to be an advantage for either player as far as when speed does or does not kick in. As we can see, one of those Zerglings already goes down, and actually they both go down, so they were completely denied any scouting. The only thing that they know is that there is in fact a deadly, deadly spine crawler poking away with his big goofy face. Defensive Baneling Nest coming down as it is in the base. Typically, you'll see it planted out front. Or excuse me, out front if it's a defensive Baneling Nest. Typically, you'll put it in the base if you're trying to hide your tech. Both players are going for lair a little bit quicker. I feel like this is something that most people are going to start doing now, as you do kind of want to get past the Zergling Baneling phase fairly quickly, but I would love to see people utilize this burrow for burrow Banelings. Maybe put like 3 here, and that way if a huge Ling Flood comes across, you can just detonate, and then they're like, oh, well, I just wasted 600 minerals for a mere 3 Banelings. 4 gas coming up, and we do have 3 gas down for our player Pineapple. Hydroden is the tech of choice, and we will see now. Keksx layer just finished up. What is he going to do? I do hope it's mutas, as I do believe those are a little bit more micro intensive, and it is Spire. Sweet love muta play. Wish that this was a little more popular. It kind of died off in Wings of Liberty, strictly because, especially in this matchup, Infestors could shut them down so easy. Fungal was, not gonna lie, a little easy to land as an instant cast. Oh no, and it does look like we do get a fairly large run by up into the main. He's going to have to pull his drones, but he will have Banelings. Zerglings do pop out, so now he's going to easily be able to thwart this aggression away. 1 Baneling does go down. Very, very, very cool physics engine, if you caught that. The explosions, the detonations, the deaths of all units are just graphically more stimulating. I do love that about Heart of the Swarm. We do see the muscular augments coming down for the Hydralisk. This does allow them to move 25% faster off of creep, and this makes them quite dangerous. He did spot the Spire, so he is going to be getting some spores up. I do like to place my spores right in between my gas, that way it does not interfere with the gas mining, but it also does cover most of the mineral line. Pretty steady pack of Hydras out so far. 4 mutas on the way, and it does look like he is not sure what his opponent is going, so he in fact is blindly throwing up 2 Spore Crawlers. Not a fan of this. His lack of scouting is, well, going to possibly be detrimental to his economy. As you can see, he's already starting to spend money unnecessarily, and in fact he is going for Carapace versus the armor upgrade, which really shows that he thinks his opponent is in fact going for mutas, as Carapace does scale better because you have the glaive worms. It actually negates 1 damage from each glaive worm, whereas attack only upgrades the 1 attack for... Oh, and just a second, folks, we do have a Nidus network coming down. He's going to try and Nidus these Hydras across, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But anyways, as I was saying, with the flyer attack, the glaive worms that they shoot out, the first one does 1 more damage, the second one does 0.33 damage, and the third one only does a mere 0.11 damage extra. So if you get that Carapace upgrade, you are actually negating 0.77 more than the second glaive shot, and 0.67 more than the first glaive shot, and 0.89 more than the second glaive shot. So you do come out ahead. Would like to see a couple more Banelings come out from Keksx, as, well, these Hydras get raffle stomped against Banelings. We are going to see an engage here. No. Yes, he does lose 2 mutas pretty quickly. And now with these Hydras, they can kite so much more effectively with these speed upgrades. We do see these Zerglings just going to try and get in here. Great split coming out so far, though, from Pineapple. The micro, it's like he did that Marine split challenge 1,000 times, only with speed Hydras. They do need to make a map for that. That would be quite cool. We do see the mutas clean up, and Keksx is quite ahead now. 92 to 59. This has been a very back and forth game, as the post said. Really like the aggressive play. ZVZ tends to be probably the most aggressive matchup, and I think that's what makes it really interesting. There's always something to pay attention to. We do see Speed Banes now coming down, as he does know his opponent is going Mass Hydra. This will be very effective. Forcing out another Spore. Infestation Pit on the way, more than likely just going to be for pathogen glands for those ever famous infestors. And this third base more than likely will fall, and he is going to lose just a couple mutas here. That is not good. I do like that, how he just kind of only had 4 Zerglings there just to make sure that it was being picked off. Still would like to see +1 come down. We do see +2 range attacks, so these Hydras are going to be packing a hell of a punch here soon, but not just yet. As we can see, the Glaveworms will do 9 damage apiece. And with the needled spines from the Hydras, they're already up to 13 damage apiece, and now in fact 14 damage. So the DPS is much higher, but you do have to factor in the fact that there are Glaveworms, so it's a little bit of extra DPS, but not a terrible amount. And it does look like Centrifugal Hooks are going to finish up at the perfect time, and they roll right into the Hydras. Huge loss for Pineapple. And that is not good, and now he has Banelings, and GG was called. There were just too many mutas here for Keksx, and that is the power of the new mutas I was talking about. If you just get a couple Banelings, get that speed up, you can kind of do similar to what you would do against Terran Wrap Around with the Zerglings, and nail them with the Banelings. Let the mutas clean up the scraps, and yeah, you should have yourself a fairly easy victory. But thank you guys for watching. I will be casting a couple more games from Rcast It. Just kind of scouring, trying to see which quality ones are available. But let me know, please shoot me a tweet, send me any sort of message on Reddit as well. You can find me actually there at Swelcela. That is going to be SIWELCELA. And yeah, you can just pretty much find all of my information in that subreddit, or as I'm sure you can see on the left hand side. If you did enjoy the cast, please let me know, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever you gotta do. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.